War on television is often remembered for explosions and heroics. But one series did something very different, stripped combat down to fear, fatigue, and survival. No speeches, no easy victories, just soldiers trying to make it through the next hour. Today, we're counting down the 10 greatest episodes of combat. It's episodes that defined realism, psychological depth, and the true cost of war. These aren't just action showcases. They're stories about leadership, guilt, endurance, and the thin line between courage and collapse. This is Combat, counted down from 10 to 1. Number 10. Masquerade. Season 2, Episode 3. The squad becomes involved in a dangerous deception operation that sends them behind enemy lines using false identities. The mission relies on precision, discipline, and psychological control, rather than open combat. A seasoned operative joins the effort, projecting calm confidence, while the squad struggles with the constant risk of exposure. Disguises and forged papers offer only thin protection, as even casual interactions with German soldiers carry lethal consequences. Saunders must balance trust in the plan with the responsibility of protecting his men if circumstances turn against them. As complications arise, each decision tightens the noose, forcing quick judgments under extreme pressure. The episode builds tension through quiet exchanges and narrow escapes rather than gunfire. Its strength lies in showing how warfare can depend on nerve and restraint as much as firepower. The mission's success rests on everyone maintaining the masquerade just long enough to survive. Number 9. Far from the Brave. Season 1, Episode 5. This early episode examines the emotional weight of command as Saunders struggles with guilt over recent losses. Preparing for another dangerous mission, he becomes increasingly withdrawn, questioning whether his leadership is costing lives unnecessarily. His distance creates unease within the squad, as the men sense his doubt but still depend on his decisions. When combat erupts, it is sudden and unforgiving, reinforcing the reality that hesitation and certainty can both be deadly. Saunders is forced to confront his fear of failure and the impossibility of protecting everyone under his command. The aftermath leaves scars that are emotional as much as physical. Rather than celebrating bravery, the episode defines courage as continuing to lead despite uncertainty. It establishes one of the series' central themes, that leadership often means carrying guilt without relief and making choices knowing the outcome may still be tragic. Number 8. The Hard Way Back. Season 3, Episode 6. After completing a mission, the squad begins a grueling withdrawal under constant threat. There is no sense of victory, only the exhausting need to survive the return. Harsh terrain, limited supplies, and relentless enemy pressure turn every step into a risk. Fatigue erodes patience and judgment, causing tempers to flare and mistakes to multiply. Saunders must manage pace, protect the wounded, and maintain cohesion as German forces harass them from all sides. The episode emphasizes endurance over heroics, showing how discipline becomes the only path to survival. Moments of panic threaten to break the unit, but shared hardship reinforces their bond. By the time they finally reach safety, the toll is undeniable. The episode strips war down to its most basic truth. Survival often comes not from triumph, but from simply refusing to stop moving. Number 7. One More for the Road. Season 1, Episode 29. The squad encounters a soldier nearing the breaking point, desperate for one last escape from the front. As the mission unfolds, Saunders observes how prolonged exposure to danger erodes judgment and hope. The episode unfolds quietly, driven by conversations and unspoken tension rather than large-scale action. Each man reflects, subtly, on what keeps him going and what might finally push him too far. When danger arises, the consequences of emotional exhaustion become clear, threatening not just one life, but the entire squad. Saunders must step in before desperation turns fatal. The story highlights the thin line between courage and recklessness, and how survival often depends on restraint rather than heroics. It stands as one of the series' most human episodes, focusing on the psychological cost of war rather than battlefield spectacle. Only 3% of viewers that watch our videos are subscribed. If you're enjoying this video, smash that subscribe button. It's free, it supports the channel, and it helps us make even more of the content you love. Number 6. Bridgehead. Season 2, Episode 2. The squad is ordered to hold a fragile bridgehead vital to the Allied advance, despite knowing the position is dangerously exposed. German forces probe relentlessly, testing defenses while artillery fire pins the men down. Saunders must carry out orders that prioritize strategy over survival, managing his men's fear as reinforcements remain uncertain. Communication failures heighten the sense of isolation, leaving the squad vulnerable to being overrun. As pressure mounts, the bridgehead feels less like a strategic asset and more like a trap. When the Germans launch a coordinated assault, discipline and improvisation become the only tools left. The episode captures the strain placed on small units expected to absorb overwhelming force for objectives far beyond their control. Victory, if it comes at all, feels fragile and temporary, overshadowed by the cost of holding ground that may soon be abandoned. Number 5. The Partisan. Season 5, Episode 25. After being wounded in combat, Saunders and Cage are separated from their unit behind enemy lines. Weak and vulnerable, they rely on a Frenchwoman who shelters them at great personal risk. As German patrols sweep the area, tension builds with every knock at the door and every passing sound outside. Saunders struggles to lead while injured, knowing that any mistake could cost not only their lives but hers as well. The woman's quiet courage highlights the suffering of civilians trapped between occupation and liberation. Choices about movement, silence, and sacrifice become increasingly desperate as the enemy closes in. Rather than focusing on combat, the episode emphasizes trust and moral responsibility. It is an intimate survival story that underscores how war reaches far beyond the battlefield, placing unbearable pressure on those with no uniforms and no protection. Number 4. Anatomy of a Patrol. Season 2, Episode 11. This episode slows the pace to examine every detail of a routine patrol. Preparation, positioning, and timing are carefully laid out, revealing how minor decisions can determine life or death. As the squad moves through enemy territory, the lack of immediate action heightens anxiety. Sounds, shadows, and uncertain signals turn silence into a constant threat. Saunders must manage fear and discipline, knowing hesitation can be just as deadly as recklessness. When contact finally occurs, it is sudden and chaotic, unraveling even the best planning. The aftermath forces the men to confront mistakes and accept the randomness of survival. The episode avoids spectacle, focusing instead on tension and responsibility. It remains one of the series' most respected entries for showing combat not as excitement, but as a careful balance between preparation, trust, and unavoidable risk. Number 3. The Walking Wounded. Season 1, Episode 30. After receiving a minor leg wound, Saunders is pulled from the front and placed in an ambulance with other walking wounded. During the evacuation, he witnesses fear and emotional collapse among the medical personnel assigned to escort them. When enemy fire forces a retreat, a critically wounded soldier is abandoned in the confusion. Saunders refuses to accept the decision and challenges the lack of responsibility shown by those meant to protect the injured. Despite being wounded himself, he insists on returning to save the man left behind. As the journey continues through dangerous territory, Saunders' quiet determination forces others to confront their own fear and moral failure. The episode shifts away from battlefield combat and instead examines courage, duty, and leadership under pressure. It emphasizes that the most damaging wounds of war are not always physical, but the loss of resolve and responsibility when lives are treated as expendable. Number 2. Hills Are for Heroes. Season 4, Episodes 25 and 26. The squad is ordered to seize and hold a strategic hill under relentless enemy fire. From the start, the terrain offers little protection, turning every advance into a gamble. Repeated assaults grind the men down as casualties mount and exhaustion takes hold. Saunders faces constant pressure from command to hold ground regardless of cost. German counterattacks exploit the exposed hillside, transforming it into a killing field. The battle becomes less about strategy and more about endurance, with progress measured in yards and lives lost. As the fight drags on, the hill takes on symbolic weight, representing sacrifice rather than victory. By the end, success feels hollow, overshadowed by the price paid. The episode stands as one of the series' most cinematic and brutal portrayals of sustained combat. Number 1. The Long Way Home. Season 2, Episodes 4 and 5. After a disastrous patrol, Saunders and members of his squad are captured behind enemy lines. Rather than immediate brutality, their German captor employs psychological pressure, using exhaustion, hunger, and uncertainty to break them. Forced on a long march through hostile territory, the men are never sure whether they are being relocated or quietly disposed of. Each reacts differently to captivity, revealing cracks in morale and trust. Saunders must balance resistance with survival, knowing one reckless move could doom them all. Small acts of defiance clash with moments of despair as escape opportunities appear and vanish. The journey itself becomes the battlefield, testing leadership, loyalty, and endurance. Victory comes not through firepower, but through resilience and unity. By the end, survival feels earned rather than triumphant, making this two-part episode the definitive statement of the series' themes and its most powerful exploration of war without combat. Combat wasn't about winning wars, it was about surviving them. These episodes endure because they treated soldiers as human beings, flawed, exhausted, and afraid, rather than symbols of heroism. If you enjoyed this countdown, like the video, subscribe for more classic TV deep dives, and comment below with your favorite combat episode, or which one you think should have been number 1. Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes the bravest thing in war is simply making it home.